What if I told you that the Golden State Warriors might have just made the most decisive move of the entire season by bringing in Jimmy Butler? That's right. Ever since he arrived, the team has simply turned into a winning machine. And listen, the impact goes way beyond the stats. There's a detail here that could completely change the course of the playoffs. And if you think you've already figured everything out, hold on, because something big is coming. Before we dive deeper, if you love staying on top of the biggest turnarounds, in-depth analysis, and the hottest NBA news, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That helps us a lot, and make sure you don't miss a single detail of this insane final stretch of the season. Around here, it's daily content. Straight to the point, just the way you like it. So let's get into it. Since Jimmy Butler's arrival, the Warriors have posted an impressive record, 20 wins and only 5 losses. But here's the most interesting part. 20 of those wins came in just 24 games with Butler in the rotation. In other words, his influence on the court is direct. This isn't just good performance. It's a shift in mentality. Butler came in and brought exactly what the Warriors were missing: intensity. He changed the tone, changed the locker room atmosphere. A team that once seemed tired and predictable now plays with aggression, with hunger to win. And that kind of attitude is exactly what separates good teams from true title contenders. The biggest proof of this new momentum came on April 3rd, when the Warriors faced none other than Luka Doncic and LeBron James' Los Angeles Lakers. And what we saw on the court was a much more determined, more connected Golden State, winning a battle that seemed lost. That win wasn't just another game. It was a message to the rest of the league. We're back. And speaking of LeBron after the game, he didn't hold back on praising the rival. In an interview, the Lakers star recalled a time he had to face the Warriors after Kevin Durant joined the team, and said that seeing Jimmy Butler on this roster feels like reliving that nightmare. "Jimmy Butler is great," said LeBron. "He adds a toughness to them, a guy with championship DNA. It's always like that with the Warriors. They always figure it out, always bring in someone who makes them dynamic." Those words don't come from just anyone. They come from someone who knows better than anyone what it's like to face a dynasty. Now let's look at the numbers. Since putting on the Golden State jersey, Jimmy Butler is averaging a solid 17.3 points per game, along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. And here's the most impressive part. He's shooting 51.4% from 2-point range. That shows how efficient he's been at attacking the rim and creating mid-range opportunities. But it's not just on offense where he's making an impact. Defensively, Butler has been a perfect fit. Alongside Draymond Green, he's brought physicality and court awareness that have made the Warriors' defense more solid and versatile. They can switch on defense, double team effectively, pressure the passing lanes. It's a defense that adapts to any opponent. And in a playoff scenario, that makes all the difference. Right now, Golden State sits in 5th place in the Western Conference. And if the season ended today, we'd be looking at a first-round matchup against the Lakers. Yes, LeBron versus Butler, Curry versus Davis. It would be an explosive clash. But the most interesting part is that the West is still wide open. The gap between the 3rd and 8th seeds is small, and any slip-up or surprise win could shift the entire bracket. So the big question is, with this new addition, with this new energy, are the Warriors really back in the title conversation? They've got the roster, the experience, a championship caliber coach, and now they've got Jimmy Butler with fire in his eyes. It just might be enough for another deep playoff run. Now I want to hear from you. In your opinion, what else does this Golden State team need to dominate the NBA like it did in the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading all of them. What if I told you that Kevin Durant may have played his last game wearing a Suns jersey and didn't even realize it? Sound like an exaggeration? Well, what started as a simple ankle sprain could actually be the spark for one of the biggest moves the NBA has seen in recent years. The kind of twist that not only changes the destiny of a franchise, but rewrites entire legacies. Yes, Durant got injured, but the impact of that goes far beyond the court. There's a growing sense of a cycle coming to an end in Phoenix. And what's most curious is that this possible ending could open the door to a new beginning. But not just any beginning. The path could lead Durant back to the only place where everything truly worked. The Golden State Warriors. But hold on, because there's a detail in this story that could change absolutely everything. A specific point, which might seem small, but could be the real trigger for a trade involving not only KD, but also the future of the Suns, Warriors, and even other big names around the league. And you're about to understand why this story goes way beyond a simple deal. Now, before we go on, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Here, we don't just report the news, we analyze, investigate, and connect the dots no one else sees. If you truly love the NBA, this is your place. And what's coming next is next level content. So make the most of it. It's free, and you're more than welcome on our team. Let's get straight to the point. The Suns are on the edge of the cliff. Getting eliminated in the play-in tournament seems more and more likely. And with Durant out, the team loses its primary offensive outlet. The overall performance collapses, the pressure rises, and the chances of advancing drop drastically. And that's when the inevitable question starts to pop up behind the scenes. Is it worth keeping Kevin Durant with his roster? It's tough to say this about one of the greatest talents in league history, but maybe the answer is no. Not because he's declined technically, far from it, but because the fit with the Suns just hasn't worked. The project looked promising, but it didn't click. And if it didn't work now with a healthy roster, when will it? That's the kind of thinking starting to take hold in Phoenix's front office. And once that thought creeps in, trades start to be considered, especially if there's already a place ready to welcome him. And that place exists. It's in San Francisco. It's the Golden State Warriors. Sounds crazy? Not if you pay close attention to what Durant said recently on Draymond Green's podcast. In what seemed like a casual comment, Durant hinted that the reason he didn't return to the Warriors last season had more to do with timing, not lack of interest. That statement hit the NBA world like a bomb, because it shows that KD doesn't see returning as a closed door. And if he didn't close it, the Warriors might be ready to swing it wide open. Time, in fact, is the key factor here. Curry is 36 years old. Draymond is also feeling the weight of age. Klay, while still capable of flashes, isn't the same as before. The window for another title is closing, and bringing Durant back might be the only realistic way to keep this dynasty alive for one more run. Some analysts have even floated Jimmy Butler's name in this context. But the truth is, Butler doesn't have the ideal profile for the Warriors. He's intense, demanding, used to leading with a firm grip. Something that could cause friction in an already tight-knit group with clearly defined leaders. Plus, his playing style doesn't mesh well with Golden State's fluid, motion-heavy offense. Durant, on the other hand, is the opposite. He knows the system. He's one with it. He understands the spacing, the cuts, the timing. He wouldn't need to adapt. He wouldn't disrupt anything. It would be like putting a gear back into its original engine. The fit is already tested. And most importantly, it worked very well. But of course, this wouldn't come cheap. The Warriors would need to put valuable assets on the table. Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski are the most mentioned names. And that's where the tension lies. Because Kuminga is thriving, Moody has matured and become reliable. And Podziemski has been a pleasant surprise, showing court awareness and consistency far beyond what expected of a rookie. And here comes a classic NBA dilemma. Prioritize the future or go all in on the present. Because with Curry still playing at a high level, this might be the last real shot at a title. And to make that happen, maybe sacrificing tomorrow for today is the price to pay. And from the Suns' perspective, this trade starts to make even more sense. Durant no longer holds the market value he once did. His injuries are becoming a pattern. Age is catching up. And if it's time to rebuild, what better way to do it than with young players who have real upside? Kuminga could become a star. Moody could be a dependable piece. Podziemski has high basketball IQ. Bringing the three together would, in essence, kickstart a rebuild with a young and promising core. It's not a guaranteed success, but it's a far more solid start than continuing to rely on a veteran KD who's increasingly sidelined. And then comes the emotional side of the story. Durant left the Warriors in 2019 to chase the spotlight, to prove he could win outside the shadow of a well-oiled system. But the years passed, and the titles didn't come. The perception has changed. Today, going back to the only place where everything flowed might not be a step backward, but a mature, conscious move. A choice for stability, comfort, and legacy. Because let's be honest, the Warriors need this too. The young guys are good, but none of them change the game like Durant. A healthy KD is still a top 5 player in the league. And in this system, he doesn't need to carry the team. He just needs to be himself. Play his game. Be efficient. Be the Kevin Durant who once dominated wearing this jersey. So now the question is, who's going to have the courage to make the first move? The Warriors, willing to risk it all for one last dance with Curry? Or the Suns, ready to turn the page and start a new story? Whatever the answer is, one thing for sure, this potential trade isn't just about players. It's about career decisions, legacy rebuilding, and even a hint of redemption. Now I want to hear your opinion. If you were the Warrior GM, would you trade Kuminga, Moody, and Podziemski for Kevin Durant? Or would you stick with a plan to bet on the future and keep building with the young core? Drop a comment down below, because this debate is just getting started. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Around here, we live the NBA differently, with analysis, forward thinking, and full access to behind-the-scenes action. Oh, and if you haven't seen the video where I explain why this might be the Warriors' last real shot with Steph Curry, click right here, because time is ticking, and we're running with it. See you in the next video, because the NBA never sleeps, and neither do we.